Cube Permaculture Garden, forecasting average July temperatures. The BSU Permaculture Gardens are located near Miles and DiNardo residence halls. The gardens began in 2015 as a way for students to get involved in sustainable and responsible growing and cultivating practices. The food produced in the garden is meant for BSU students and community members. The goal of my research year was to forecast the average daily temperature for July 2022 in order to determine if the temperature will be suitable for growing fall peas. As part of my research, I analyzed the data collected by the weather stations located at the permaculture gardens. I first calculated the average temperature in July of each year from 2016 to 2021. I then employed a moving average forecasting technique. The moving average is a method of forecasting that uses an average of n most recent periods of data to project the next period. This is an effective method for providing an overall impression of data over time. Next, I calculated two different weighted moving average forecasts. The weighted moving average method assigns a greater weighting to the most recent data points. This method can be particularly useful if there is some sort of trend present in the data. Here we see the two different sets of weights that I used for this data as broken up in percentages. The weighted moving average technique can be further modified by implementing exponential smoothing. Exponential smoothing is a weighted moving average technique in which data points are weighted by an exponential function. This technique requires choosing a smoothing constant, also known as an alpha value. This alpha value is chosen subjectively. However, the goal is always to find the value that has the lowest forecast error. In other words, I was looking to obtain the smallest difference between actual and forecasted values. Here you can see my two chosen alpha values at 0.2 and 0.5. Lastly, to put it all together, I calculated a tracking signal and mapped each one of my different forecasting methods. The tracking signal measures how well the forecast is at predicting actual values by taking the ratio of cumulative forecast errors to the mean absolute deviation. Here we can see all of the different forecasting methods laid out in one graph. Based on this tracking signal analysis, I've determined that the two-period moving average forecasting method is the best method for predicting the average temperature in July 2022. Using the two-period moving average, I forecasted the average temperature in July 2022 to be 75 degrees Fahrenheit. The optimum soil temperature for pea germination is anywhere from 40 degrees to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Based on these findings, we should consider waiting until later in the year when it is cooler to plant fall peas.